And go.
Hello, my name is Lizbeth. I hope this reaches you, Gianna Jessen. I was actually able to go to nationals this year with your piece, Top 48 in the Nation. I just want to thank you. I've had countless judges, family members, students, and teachers approach me about the impact this has had on their lives and their views. I just want to thank you again. It has been a pleasure doing your piece, and I hope you enjoy. I'm adopted. My biological mother was 17, and so was my biological father. She was 7.5 months pregnant when she decided to go to Planned Parenthood, which is the largest abortion provider in the world. She was counseled to have a late-term saline abortion, which is a saline salt solution injected into the mother's womb. The baby gulps that solution, and it burns the baby inside and out. And then she is to deliver a dead baby within 24 hours. But to everyone's great shock and surprise, I didn't arrive dead, but alive. On April 6, 1977, in a Los Angeles County abortion clinic. What's fantastic about this, about the perfect timing of my arrival, is that the abortionist wasn't on duty yet. So he wasn't even given the opportunity to continue on with his plan for my life, which was death. In the United States, over 1.2 million children are aborted every year. And these statistics increase on a global level, in which the number of aborted children is well over 40 million. Gianna Jessen's story is one that beats the odds. In a world where we value the rights of the living over the unborn and helpless, what would it be like if your choice for life was taken from you? In her address to Parliament, Gianna Jessen gives us a closer look into what it's truly like to hold on to that last strand of hope, reminding each of us of the precious life we take for granted. I know that I'm in a government building, and a beautiful one it is, and I love your country as well as my own. But I know in the day and age that we live in, it is not at all politically correct to say the name of Jesus Christ in places like this. To bring him into these sorts of meetings, because his name can make people so terribly uncomfortable. But I didn't survive so I could make people comfortable. I survived so I could stir things up a bit, and I have a great time doing it. And so, I was delivered alive, as I've already said, after 18 hours. I should be blind. I should be burned. I should be dead. And yet, I'm not. You know what is fantastic vindication is the fact that the abortionist had to sign my birth certificate, so I know who he is. And it also says, for any skeptic listening on my medical records, born during saline abortion. They didn't win. I've done some research on the man that performed the abortion on me. And his clinics are the largest chain of clinics in the United States of America. And they gross $70 million a year. I tell you these things because, listen, ladies and gentlemen, we're in a battle whether we realize it or not in this world. It is a battle between life and death. What side are you on? So, after I was delivered, a nurse called an ambulance and had me transferred to a hospital. From there, I was placed into an emergency foster care home where they decided they didn't like me very well. And as I'm fond of saying, I don't know how you could not adore me right from the start. What is wrong with these people? But they didn't. So after I was placed in the mean home, I was taken out of the mean home and placed into another home. A beautiful home. Penny's home. She said by this time I was 17 months old, 32 pounds of dead weight, and diagnosed with what I consider to be the gift of cerebral palsy, which was caused directly by the lack of oxygen to my brain while I was trying to survive. They would always look at my dear Penny, and they'd say, Gianna will never be anything, which is always encouraging. But she decided to ignore them, and she worked with me 3 times a day, and I began to hold my head up. And they would say, well, Gianna will never this and never that. Long story shorter, I was walking by the age of 3 and a half with a walker and leg braces. And I stand up here today without a walker and leg braces. I fall gracefully sometimes and very ungracefully at other times, depending on the situation. But I consider it all to be for the glory of God. You see, we were playing for keeps. I'm hoping to be hated by the time I die so I can feel God about me and understand what it was like to be hated. He was hated. Christ was hated. And not that I look forward to being hated, but I know that along my journey, I know I'm already hated because I declare life. But how much are you willing to take and how much are you willing to risk to speak the truth in love and graciousness and stand up and at least be willing to be hated? Or at the end of the day, is it all about you? Or me? You see, I've been hated since conception by so many, but loved by so many more, but most especially by God. I'm his girl, and you don't mess with God's girl. I got a sign on my forehead that says, you better be nice to me because my Father runs the world. Now, I'm just compelled to say this. If abortion is merely about women's rights, ladies and gentlemen, then what were mine? There was not a radical feminist standing up and yelling about how my rights were being violated that day. In fact, my life was being snuffed out in the name of women's rights. So when I hear the appalling, disgusting argument that we should have abortions because the kid just might be disabled, the horror that fills my heart. And I know it has been an argument for so long in this human place that we live in. That the stronger should dominate the weaker, determines who lives or dies. The arrogance of that. Don't you know that you cannot make your own heart beat? Don't you realize that all the power you think you possess, you really possess none of it at all? For it is the mercy of God that sustains you, even when you hate him. You see, ladies and gentlemen, I am weaker than most of you. But this is my sermon, and what a small price to pay to be able to blaze through the world as I do and offer hope. And I think in our misunderstanding of how the way things work, we misunderstand how beautiful suffering can be. I don't willingly sign up for it, but when it comes, we forget. We forget that God is in control, and God has a way of making the most miserable thing beautiful. I have met my biological mother. I have forgiven my biological mother. She is a very broken woman. She came to an event I was having 2 years ago, showed up unannounced, and said, "Hello, I'm your mother." It was a very difficult day for me. And yet, while I was enduring all of this, you might think I'm silly, but I was thinking, I don't belong to you. I belong to Christ. I'm his girl, and I'm a princess. So no matter what you say in all your anger rage, and brokenness, it is not mine to keep. It is not mine to carry, and I won't. But you have an opportunity today, ladies and gentlemen. What sort of people are you going to be? I trust incredible. Now, I'll just end with this. I know some of you might be slightly annoyed that all I keep talking about is God and Jesus. But how on earth can I walk about through this world and not give all my heart, mind, soul, and strength to the Christ who gave me life? So if you think I'm a fool, it's just another jewel in my crown. My whole intention living here is to make God smile. I hope some of this made sense. It just came from my heart. May God bless